Okay, so I'm out here at Radwood, NorCal, which is like the first Radwood they've had since the world went to hell last year. Brought my 1990 Ford Mustang LX 5-liter convertible. Drove this all the way up from Southern California. I think it's like the third Radwood event I've brought it to. I've never done a video on the actual car. I don't know why. And somebody actually commented in the last video when I said I was driving my Fox body up. He's like, I didn't even know you had a Fox body. Don't have the top down because it's just packed full of stuff from the road trip. Because we made a couple stops. We stopped in Monterey and like Santa Cruz and whatnot on the way up. So we're gonna check this car out, and my daughter's actually sitting inside. So let's go bother her. So if you haven't been to one of these Radwood events, it's basically all 80s and 90s cars, as you can see. So you won't see any like Tri-5 Chevys or mid-60s Mustangs. You will see my Mustang though. You'll see my 1990 LX. I've owned this car about 6 years, never done a feature on it. Drove it up from Pasadena. Don't ask me how I got that plate. Nobody had it, so I got kind of lucky there. I even have my Cabbage Patch Kid. That's actually mine from when I was a kid. I think I got that in like 82 or 83. So for some reason I held on to it all these years. I got some vintage cassettes, and I've got my club. Gotta have the club. There's my daughter. How you doing?
I'm fine.
Okay, she's just hanging out here playing on her phone.
Goldfish.
She has goldfish. That's a throwback right there. So she's just chilling out in the car while I film everything. And then Nick Ferrari came up from SoCal with his. Actually, he keeps this one in Fresno, so he didn't come that far. But it's an '86 Cadillac Eldorado coupe that he's been working on. I think he just finished up doing a bunch of work on it the other day, so he could drive it out here. See, it's got the moonroof. It's got like a dealer installed top. Because this is kind of like a base Eldorado. It's not the Barrett's or anything like that, but still in really nice condition. I can't remember how many miles he said it had on it. It's even got the old Sunset license plates on it. So really, really cool car. Lots of neat stuff out here. We're gonna walk around and check out some of it, most of it, and quite a bit of it. Here's a little Corvette C4 in that GM green. This one's even got a manual transmission. Most of those are automatic. People are actually still rolling in. It's actually like 10, 15 now as this Eagle rolls in. That is like super clean Eagle Premier. Kind of like when you first got into like the Chrysler era of Eagle after it came out of AMC. Neat Comanche pickup. Speaking of Chrysler era of AMC Jeep slash, right when they took over. Ford Ranger pickup, 4-wheel drive. Looks like it's seen some duty off-road. Lots of BMWs. In fact, the hotel I stayed at last night, there was a whole group of BMW enthusiasts from Reno that were in town for the show. Imagine a lot of the people here, though. Most people are probably Bay Area. And they are doing a SoCal show. I believe it's like November 20th. It'll be on their website. I know they have like a Pacific Northwest show announced, which I'd like to get to because I have family up there, but I don't know if the financiers are going to be allowing for that. Toyota minivan. I don't even know how to film this. Like, there's just stuff literally like everywhere. I'm gonna go over and film more of the BMW like E30 action. These have gotten kind of pricey, which is really surprising because they're like, I remember those were like everywhere back in the day, especially in the LA area. Audi Quattro. All right, here's a Honda Del Sol done up for the Gambler. So it's lifted up with knobby tires, no top, ready to party. I actually found a great car that would be great to build into a Gambler, a Dodge Durango 4-wheel drive. The guy I bought the 64 Ranchero from has it, and I'm really considering it, but I just don't have the room right now. And I'm actually supposed to be getting another car from my buddy, so I really don't have the room. It's a little VW Caddy pickup. Had one of those once, a little diesel. It's a nice Cobra Fox body. These have just gone stupid in value. I remember when these came out, they were just like the hottest thing. This one appears to be in really nice condition. Another Fox body GT with the LX taillights on it. I always like the way the GTs look with the LX lights. The GT lights, I think, became a little dated almost instantaneously. It's even got a moonroof on it. There's a BMW 850. A couple of Mercedes Benzes. I very nearly drove my mother. My mother has a 90, I believe a 93 or 94 E320 convertible that she bought new. I almost drove that up, but then I said, "No, let's just take the Mustang." And it did just fine. A little VTEC Civic. I believe this is the royalty area because it's on grass, because these guys are all fancy like that. As the little GTI rolls in. Okay, but we're still rolling in. I think the cutoff is actually in about 10 or 15 minutes. They said by 10:30 they wanted everybody to be here. Little MR2. This one's got all the carbon fiber stuff on it. And they got a Porsche. Of course, they get a lot of Porsches at this. That was actually really sharp. Little Mitsubishi. Let's go to Cressida. Nissan. I said, I think the majority of the cars they get here are mainly BMWs. I think if you go back and watch, I've actually got a playlist of all the videos I've shot at Radwood. Oh, there's a guy that's got a matching car to mine, but in much better condition. Mine gets driven quite a bit, especially with my mother when her car breaks down. So the GTI. Toyota vans are always kind of neat. I can't imagine there's too many of those, you know, running around anymore. Those that were used as utility vehicles. I believe this is the royalty area. Don't quote me on that. Another C4 Corvette. I'm pretty much going to have to go through this pretty quick. There's just so many cars here, as you can see. Little S10 pickup. And a BMW wagon. So, this year I think they're sponsored by Motul. I used to use Motul 2-stroke oil in all my old Vespas. In fact, we used to sell it at the shop. I knew the old rep back then, but I don't think he's the rep anymore. I think he was the rep for SoCal though, so I don't. So usually, so a few more. It's kind of nice over here in the shade. A Mazda pickup. My uncle had one of those, and I think he put about 300,000 or 400,000 miles on it before it got stolen. He was very angry about it because he had to go buy another pickup truck. Little red MR2. These are like a go-kart. My sister had one of these, and I took it out a few times and maybe drove it a bit hard back in my high school days. Managed to survive. A Fiero GT. This one's very similar to mine. This one's much cleaner though. I'll admit to that. And mine has the white interior. Mine has the white leather. This one's got the gray cloth. He's got the factory cassette deck as well. I have the tonneau cover for mine, but I left it at home so I get more stuff in the trunk for driving up the coast here. More Porsches. Toyota Celica. And of course, the JDM stuff's real popular at Radwood. You'll see a lot of cars that they never sold here. An MR2. One of these funky Saabs. The thing I can say about these, the guys who drive these definitely swear by them. These little Swedish cars. This guy rolls in the Jaguar convertible. Little Volkswagen Corrado. These were neat. They had the spoiler that would come up, I believe, at about 40 miles an hour. The little spoiler back there actually had a little hydraulic thing that would push it up. It's got the Recaro seats and everything. These were a fun car. I got to drive one once back when they were new. Very clean Volvo. Here's the neat. It's a Cavalier RS. I believe these were built by Hess and Eisenhart. I don't think it says. These were not a factory convertible. These were converted by another company. I believe it was Hess and Eisenhart, the same company that built a lot of the hearses. Built these. These even got the sunset plates on it. They were quite a big jump over what a non-convertible would cost, since it was like a custom conversion.
I love stuff like this because, first of all, you don't see Cavaliers, let alone convertible.
You got a square body pickup truck, four-wheel drive. Here's a real neat. This is a Mustang SVO. This is actually on the Rad for Sale site. So I believe it's up for sale on there. They have Radwood actually has a site where they sell cars now. And I think you can consign your car or do an auction. This one's real sharp. There used to be one of these in my neighborhood, a silver one, and I don't know whatever happened to it. I used to tell the guy, if you ever want to sell it, but of course I never heard from the guy when he did sell it. An old Beetle. This one's an 83, so I'm guessing this one's from Mexico. This one says, yeah, 121 original miles. So this is probably from Mexico or Brazil. Kind of surprised it's got Vermont plates, so yeah, it's probably not registerable in California, I'd imagine. Yeah, it's got a Mexico tag there on the back window. You got to remember they built the air-cooled Beetles, I believe, right up into the 90s in Mexico. This guy's got a bunch of old Hot Wheels. One year I brought a bunch of old ones from the 90s to give out, and I had a hard time giving them out, believe it or not. I think people wondering why the heck I was giving them away. I was just trying to clean out my closet. This is a very big show. I think this might be one of the bigger Radwood shows, if not the biggest that I've been to. Nice Porsche Cabriolet. There's another BMW, and here's one straight up Magnum PI. Nice Ferrari. It's in very nice condition. 308. And I got a GMC Cyclone. I believe they did 1,500 of these, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember when these came out, like the dealers that had them did like a massive markup on these. So they were very hard to get. Every once in a while you'll see online somebody has one that's like in terrible condition. You wonder who bought one of these and let it just deteriorate, because they were very expensive. He's got a club as well. And this one is in very, very good condition. So if you see the Typhoon, they made the Typhoon that was more like the Blazer Jimmy style. There's a lot more of those built than the Cyclone, the pickup truck one. And then We got the Buick Grand National 87 intercooled. This one again is in really nice condition. I remember test driving one of these back in the day, and it's even stock, they were a very quick car. Skyline GTR, straight out of Japan. So these are getting to be over 25 years old, so a lot of these have been coming in. Try to get around, there's a guy photographing it. Another Ferrari 308. Another Ferrari. That's a neat Lancia here. We actually were behind this guy coming in, and we knew he was in the royalty section because look at this. I mean, if you had this car, you'd definitely be putting it in the royalty section. So, a couple more vehicles. From what I understand, they ran out of regular spots before royalty spots, so a lot of people were forced to actually get the royalty spots because it was all they could get. Wow, check out this Mercedes SL Roadster. It is in very, very nice condition. And I gotta take you around the back here, show you what's going on. Check out this guy's bumper sticker. It's got a vintage Dole Kemp bumper sticker on it. Little BMW wagon. I always like the wagons. I think the old school BMW and Mercedes wagons, probably the best looking of those marks from that era were the wagons. It's just my opinion, but I'm a wagon guy. And a Lotus Esprit. So it's very hard to get around a lot of people photographing here. So I'm sure you're gonna, if you go on Instagram, I'm sure if you look up Radwood NorCal, hashtag it, and I'm sure you'll find a lot of photographs of these cars. BMW M3. And of course, it wouldn't be a Radwood without a DeLorean or two. It's the first DeLorean I've run across, but I'm sure we're going to run across another one, maybe even two. Speaking of Back to the Future, we've got this guy's come to the SoCal ones as well. This is a reproduction of the truck from Back to the Future. It was Marty McFly's dream truck that, of course, he got at the end of the movie. Yeah, nice Land Cruiser. No flux capacitor in this one. Got another Lancia rally car. Imagine a lot of these have been coming over since they became over 25 years old. Another Porsche. One of my favorite of the 80s Volkswagens has to be the Scirocco. I don't know why, you just don't see these so much anymore. These are mostly all gone. He's got all the original literature on it. And he's even got a mobile phone from the era. It's a very fun car. I imagine that's probably why a lot of them led to the demise of many of them, because I'm sure they were driven quite hard back then. So definitely a treat to see one. This is a super clean little Honda CVCC. And it's for sale. I got a little BMW, was it the Z3 or what's this one?
Is it time? Is it time?
I'm sure there's somebody else who's like a BMW guy that's going to do a video at this event that knows what all these BMWs are, but I actually looked at those when they were new, and I could, even back then when I was thinner, I couldn't fit in one of those cars.
Yeah.
So that didn't happen.
Well, this is
A little Celica.
a birthday gift for myself.
So,
The best.
all right, so we've reached the part of the video where unfortunately the music is too loud in the background, so I had to go back later on and add a voiceover. So here we go. Still a lot of cool stuff here at Radwood. If you want to like simulate the Radwood experience, just get a radio and put on some like 80s and 90s music in the background, and then the copyright police won't have to mess with you. There's a lot of cool bikes here too. These BMW motorcycles that were at Radwood, and some of a little Piaggio Vespa Grande moped, which actually I used to have one of those years ago. I paid like $75 for it. I think I sold it for about $350 or $400, but it was pretty mint. And that was back before like the mopeds got really popular with like the hipsters. And it was like 15 years ago. And this guy also has a couple of these Moto Compos, which of course came with the Honda City car back then, which was sold in Japan. But some of these little Moto Compo scooters that fold up actually wound up over here. And this one was near and dear to my heart because this is a Vespa T5 scooter. And these were, I think these came out in like 85 or 86. And these were actually a 125cc 5-port 2-stroke, and even though it was a 125, it was actually faster than the Vespa 200, like the P200E, if you guys know anything about scooters. This one has the the rectangular headlight. Trapezoid was on the 60s Vespas. And then there's like a frame extension from what a normal Vespa had. And these were called the pole position, and they had the little package tray there up where the key goes, right above the glove box. But not sold in the United States, but a lot of them actually wound up over here probably in like the late 90s, early 2000s when a lot of stuff was coming over here. And here's a really cool Ducati. Yeah, I'm just realizing just how many what the sheer volume of cars is here at Radwood this year, because it's a lot. I'm going to have to shoot this very quickly so this doesn't turn into like a really super crazy long video, but it probably will be anyway. So just get your popcorn. We're going to go through these. And of course I wake up this morning, I get a notification from Pick Apart that they got a Ranchero just like the one I'm working on that has a lot of parts that I need that I'm sure will be gone by tomorrow when I can actually make it out to the Southern California Santa Fe Springs Pick Apart. They always seem to set stuff out that I need parts out of when I'm out of town or I just can't make it for some reason. But hopefully the seat's still there because I need the front seat out of it, which there only is a front seat on a Ranchero. But we'll see tomorrow as I ramble on. Be sure to check out my 64 Ranchero project truck video that I picked up a few weeks ago. I've got some parts on order, so I'll be doing some more work on that hopefully this week. Hopefully I'll be making it out to get some more parts from that junkyard if some of the stuff I need is actually still there. Just a lot of cars out here this year. I'm sure the SoCal event's going to be just absolutely massive as well. See, there's a Ranger. That's your typical 80s, 90s white paint on an American vehicle that just flakes right off. There's some Miata. I'll show you like the Scotch Brighted and clear coated the hood. A little Samurai. That one's been like rhino lined. This guy's got the full Radwood NorCal livery on his car here. On the Subaru. And we got a stock one right next to it. You just don't see these. I always wondered about the windows on these because obviously you can't roll most of it down. Continuing on our quest, this is kind of like way in the back of Radwood. But we're going to try to bring as many of the vehicles here as possible. Little Fiat 124 Roadster and a Blazer. Nice about Radwood is you can still pick up all these vehicles for a very low price. Come in and join the fun. Check out this old Saks moped. We'll walk another line of the cars here. This was actually a great choice of location because, I mean, they definitely have room to expand if they do keep doing the show at this place here. Little Fiat X19. That one is very clean. Honda Prelude. A buddy of mine in the Navy had one of these. He had the VTEC version, and then he wrecked it, and we used to call him VWreck after he wrecked his car and totaled it. He actually got a lot of trouble because he actually totaled it on base, which is very, very hard to do. Because like the speed limit's like 15 or something on base, or at least it was. Lots of more BMWs. I think BMWs are like the Tri-5 of Radwood, if you will. I think some of you guys who have been in the car scene a long time will get what I'm saying. So it's Nissan. Nissan Z car here. This is a turbo. Man. Again, this is one of those cars, a lot of them got driven hard and into the ground. So it's very rare to see one such a nice original one still floating around out there. Little 240 SX. Of course, these are popular with the drifter crowd. Now, here's that Eagle Premier we saw rolling earlier. God, this thing's clean. Check this out. He's got more cassettes than I do. Even got Willie Nelson. And he's got a car phone. This one's a time capsule. It's even got the old Jeep Eagle of Reno frame on it. This thing is just absolutely amazing. How many miles on this? 71,000, and it looks like it. It'll launch you.
Well, with climate change,
I thought I fixed it, and things got cold. I was like, cool, okay, it's fixed.
Little Miata. We saw this guy rolling. He's even got his iMac in the back of this Jaguar. It's the last time you saw one of these. I've actually got my Apple IIc, but it would have been kind of hard to fit it in the Mustang for the drive up from Southern California. Definitely cool to bring if you don't have long distance to go like I did. Little Ford Escort. I remember that color. I had a friend in the Navy had one. He had the sedan, that color. The what they call it, the Clio model, or whatever they called that, whatever the edition was. I'll probably think of it after I shoot this video. Is this a VW Synchro? I think this is a Synchro, is it? Looks like it's lifted up. It's Vanagon. It might not be a Synchro. Ready to go camping though. RX-7. A lot more of the spectators are rolling in now. Fiat coupe, Volvo coupe. I saw Bertone, I thought Fiat, but I was looking at it thinking Volvo. And my brain likes to fart on occasion because I'm getting old. And my birthday's next week, so I'm even getting older. Excuse my brain fart every once in a while. Or Jaguar.
I heart no top.
Yeah. Bro, look at the back. Yeah.
Another Honda Prelude. He's got the club as well. A lot of guys do the club. I just happened to find mine the other day, which is why I was like, oh, I'll just grab it. Oh, we're coming up on an old Silhouette. We gotta take a look at that. That is the Cadillac of minivans. The old Silhouette with a 3800 motor, so you know it'll last forever. So have a look at this one. It's got a splatter on the windshield. I can't imagine that glass is very easy to come by. It's where a space age. They did these Illumina and the Transport. Hey, it's had this distinctive sliding glass doors, and you hit the button and it would shut on its own. Let's check that Silhouette out again. Jeep Wrangler. Apparently this is the white car section. I think it's the white Subaru section. Of course, the ever popular MR2. There's an early Scirocco, complete with a bicycle on the roof. A Buick Roadmaster Estate. I had one of these with the wood, a 94. And I was married at the time, and my ex said, there's no way you're taking our kids to school in that. So I sold it. Now I wish I had it, because they're bringing big money now. And we got a Roadmaster sedan. And these cars are just absolutely wonderful to drive on the highway. Extremely comfortable, especially for us big guys. And there's the Roadmaster sedan and an Acura NSX.
I always like those wheels. Those are sweet. Yeah, they're good.
Okay, we're getting back into the music area, so I'll probably be talking more now. A couple Alphas and a Honda Accord. Oh, we gotta see Kit from Knight Rider. You're as old as me, you remember the Knight Rider TV show from the 1980s. He doesn't have the scanner on the front going right now. But he has the full dashboard conversion and everything. Still a neat conversion. He's got the Knight Rider plate on it. Let's see if we can get a better shot of the interior. See, it's got the yoke on it. Well, I understand it, they're kind of hard to drive with the yoke. So the guys, they usually will swap the steering wheel out when they actually need to drive it somewhere. Coming over here, here's the one of those GMC Cyclones. So we saw the, it's the Typhoon. We saw the Cyclone earlier. So there's the Typhoon. This was a bigger version. Obviously these were a little slower since they were heavier. But I believe they built more of these than they did the actual Cyclone pickup trucks. All right, did a quick check on the kid because you got to do that sometimes when they're playing on their phone. Got a little Suzuki Swift here. They're basically the same as the Geo Metro back then. And I know a lot of guys like swear by these. Like they get incredible fuel economy and they're very reliable if you maintain them. Of course, they're much scarcer on the road these days since most of the people that bought these generally did not maintain them. And a little Ford Probe GT. And this one is in extremely nice condition. I mean, my uncle had one of these. He took it up to Canada where he was working and drove the heck out of it. And it definitely did not look this nice by the time he got rid of it. This one looks like it's just been locked in a garage all these years. It's another Volkswagen Corrado. Actually, on this one, you can see the spoilers up on it. I think there's a button you can hit to raise the spoiler when it's parked, so you can clean under there or whatnot. Or BMWs. And hopefully I don't have to edit this too much with the music in the background, because I really don't need a copyright strike from the YouTube people. And it's kind of hard to avoid that these days. Check this out. Wow, little Buick Riata personal luxury coupe. These are nice cars. These have the touch screen in them. And of course they use a 3800 motor, so they're extremely reliable. And the convertible version is way more scarce than these coupes, but these are nice cars, and there's like clubs for these, and guys who have them swear by them. He's even got the flip phone. I got a flip phone somewhere. I should bring mine, and a Game Boy. How about that? And I got it's a very nice Mercedes.
When you're in the high RPM tent.
I'm gonna walk around here. That is where the stage is over there, so that's where most of the music is. There's a lot more of those cars. So when I shoot those cars, I may actually have to go back over and overdub it again to avoid the musicals, if you will. Check out this Regal. This is probably a 90. These came out in like 98 and they went to 2004. Now this is actually a supercharged version. So this is a Regal GS. I had a Regal LS in 2004 that was the same body style. And believe it or not, I got it approved. I don't know. I've got a video up where I got it approved to go to Uber. I bought it for like $500. Got it approved to do Uber, and actually put quite a bit of miles on it doing Uber. But yeah, this is a '99. So we got the window sticker of $27,000. And being as it's a 3800 car, they're very reliable, and you could actually daily these. And this one's in really nice condition, and the clear coat isn't shot like it was on the one I had, unless it's been resprayed. And then the interior actually is holding up, which that's another problem with these. And another problem is the cup holder pieces just disintegrated on most of these cars. This one's got to have like really low miles, but these are a fun car to drive, and they're just great dailies. Little Toyota pickup truck and an Integra. These were extremely popular in the 1990s. And a old body style Chevrolet truck, short box. And those are getting crazy in value as well. Used to be able to pick up those for like nothing, but not anymore. Okay, I've reached another section of the video where I definitely have to do a voiceover and cut the audio, the original audio from the recorded video, because the music was just too loud. Because I'm trying to bring you as many of these vehicles as possible in this video. And this is cool. This is like a GLI Jetta that was here. And actually I had a buddy of mine when I was in the Navy, and he had one of these. And I remember this thing was just like, it was just a really fast, fun car to drive. You know, with a manual transmission and everything else. So Audi. And of course, we got this nice Audi Quattro coupe, which these are getting really scarce. In fact, it's damn near impossible to find one in good condition like this one was. Yeah, so we're going to do this. Of course, we're going to try to bring you the Radwood SoCal event. Also, I've got Malaise Days if you like this sort of era cars. That's more in 1972 to 1995. Malaise Days will be coming up, I believe, in October. If you like the Radwood group, you should probably join the Malaise Motors group if you're not already a member of that. And that's on Facebook as well. And those guys have a lot of fun. More of the quirky end of the automotive era, whereas Radwood, I think, is mostly performance focused, a lot of European cars, but you do get a lot of the quirky cars even at Radwood, such as this JDM Daihatsu Hi-Jet fire truck that somebody brought over from Japan, and he was actually running this thing around the grounds here with the lights going, and then they had like this emergency message in Japanese that was playing over the sound system, which was kind of cool. Of course, the little Hondas here are always popular as well, and this one's here featured in the royalty section at Radwood. Once again, if you want the full experience, put some 80s music on in the background right now, and you'll get that massive, cool experience. This is one of my favorite cars here. Now, this was actually a European Ford Escort RS. Basically, these were used as a rally car over in Europe. Never came over to the United States. Of course, we got kind of like the boring Ford Escorts, whereas they got these really cool ones. Check out the spoiler on the back of this one. It's kind of like a double spoiler. I've seen a few of these floating around. In fact, I saw a guy driving one even in LA a couple times that had California plates. This is going back probably a few years. I'm sure it's still floating around out there, though. More Audis. I think there's a big Audi contingency. Obviously, there's a big BMW contingency that shows up at these events. As you can see, I'm right by the stage, so if I was running the regular audio, it would probably be completely drowning everything out right now. And that would definitely be a problem for YouTube, which I'm hoping that the stuff I have the audio in the background for isn't going to mess it up. Here's a Bentley. Let's talk about a regal car out of the UK. And these are really, really nice cars. Obviously, a little maintenance intensive. And yeah, we're looking around. There's a Mercury Capri. Now, this is a Fox body, basically a Fox body Mustang, but it's the Mercury version. And of course, the back end of this car is completely unique to the Mercury version of the car. And this little Fiat convertible that someone, I guess, had brought over, probably guessing from Europe, maybe even from Italy, and imported it to the United States prior to the 25-year rule, but something you definitely don't see over on these shores. And yeah, more interesting cars. We got a BMW and a Fiero, Pontiac Fiero GT. Kind of like an older, probably early 80s Mercedes-Benz. I'm guessing it's a diesel. And check out this Pontiac Trans Am GTA. Now, this thing was in absolutely amazing condition, inside and out. I think he had a whole list of things on the dashboard that he'd done to the car, and another list of basically what he was planning on doing to it in the future. But I remember when these were brand new in the dealerships, and even back then you didn't see a whole lot of these out on the street. So really, really a nice treat to see this classic F-body. So this is the stage. They had this Renault 5 Turbo up on the stage. So you see the speakers are right there, so you know if I was playing the original audio, it just could be completely blaring you out. Another Honda Civic, and so like a Supra. So it's a lot of Japanese stuff showing up at Radwood as well, including this Lexus. All right, I think I'm far enough out of the way of the speakers now where I can actually talk over it and not get hit with a strike. So I'm going to start going through these. Check out this Monty SS. That one's been repainted. These were a lot of fun. These were, like I thought these were as fast as the Grand Nationals, but they weren't. I believe these usually came with like a 305, but of course now all the ones not in California have been hopped up. You know, they're in states where they don't have to smog them. Oh, another C4 Corvette. This one's very clean. More of the Ferrari crowd. I just kind of left my car dirty because it's not perfect, and I got to drive it back to LA after this. You got Another MR2. Kind of a neat old Mazda. Little Mazda sedan. Huh. More BMW action. One of these little Subarus. These weren't even that common when they were new. A lot of them have been preserved. A Dodge Viper. This is an early one as well. Still neat to see one. There's Saab. All right, check out this Nissan Skyline. This is actually an early one. Unfortunately, I had to redo this part of the video. I actually had this video uploaded to YouTube and got copyright struck for a song that was in this section of the video, even though you could barely hear it. There's other songs that I left in the background that you could definitely identify way easier that did not copyright struck. So unfortunately, I had to go back and re-edit this and re-upload it to YouTube, which being a long video, it takes a while. But check out this Scout. It's an International Scout too, and if it's in the 1980s, it's got to be one of the last ones built. I had one years ago that belonged to my stepfather. He was the original owner, but it was in 1974, and it was about identical to that one. And it had this cool old Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham was there. Lots of Volkswagen stuff, but I think this was kind of interesting. There was this Ranger Splash pickup. Now, these were very popular in the 90s with the flare side bed on them. But it's really interesting that this one has all the original tape stripes on it, because as you can imagine, especially with 90s American car paint, most of those have, of course, been painted over, or they've just flaked off, or people have taken them off. But real treat to see one like that. And then this really clean Scirocco. I know we've seen a few Sciroccos in this show, but it's always a treat to see one. And then, of course, to see multiple ones in a show is a treat as well. And this is a Volkswagen Fox. Now, this was like the budget Volkswagen in these years. So these were definitely, most people did not keep these cars, especially not in this kind of condition, as a lot of teenagers or college students drove those back then. And yet another Scirocco. So, I mean, just lots of, I think this is like the third Scirocco we've seen at this show so far. And we've had a couple Corrados as well. And more BMWs. Like I said, I really wish I could play this video with, I like to riff on stuff as I walk around these shows, and it's really easier to do it in person. But like I said, unfortunately, I did have to mute the video and do a voiceover on this just so I can bring it to you as we walk past an Acura NSX. We're coming to the end of this section where I have to voice over it, and I think the next section I had to voice over as well. But here's another Mustang LX. This one was a 93, and actually I wound up speaking to the owner later on the day, and it's a triple white. This had the white wheels, and in these years, the beltline strip, the whole car was white. It wasn't like my year where the beltline strip was black. So these actually had the body color beltline strip, and this one had really low miles, and this was an all-original car that had not been restored. And it was just in spectacular condition, as I'm sure it was garaged its whole life. But definitely a treat to see. Interesting to see, like, I think we had two other LXs at the show. So unfortunately, we had another video where we were too close to the speaker and I had to do a voiceover on it. But what a treat these were. We've got two basically Dodge Charger Shelby editions. And in the middle, we actually have a Carroll Shelby edition Dodge Dakota pickup truck, and these had sun visors signed by Carroll Shelby himself, and these look like ones that were maybe purchased off the showroom floor as collectibles and put away, because these were just in too amazing original condition, and something you just don't see. And I'm sure the ones that were sold, a lot of them were just used up, and the paint faded and whatnot. But these were obviously kept in just pristine original condition, and just such a neat piece of Mopar history to see here at Radwood 2021. This one looks about identical to the MR2 my sister had, with the moonroof and all, and the leather interior. Yep, this is exactly like hers. It had the automatic, it had the leather interior, which I guess was pretty rare, and it was just like this. That might even be the same car. And we got another white LX, but not a convertible. This one's a notch. More California clear coat problems. This is Ethan's car from SoCal. I guess he drove it up. This is his Nova twin cam. I saw him running around filming earlier. I'm sure that's where he is now. It's kind of a rare car. It's basically a Toyota, but it's a Chevy Nova Toyota type vehicle. I know he's got videos of this car on his channel that kind of explain it more than I can to you right now. Check that GMC Yukon out. You don't see a lot of these two-door Yukons or the accompanying Blazer in the full-size variety anymore. When I worked at Buick and GMC, we actually had a guy who almost traded one of these in, and I was like, man, I was ready to pounce on that. But unfortunately, he never traded it in. I think he realized what it was worth. Well, it's like super late, but check out the stuff rolling in. You know, you got the Countach. And the Ferrari. I'm going to try to get the last bit of cars that I didn't get before and try to avoid the music in the background, but that's kind of unavoidable at this point. There's a cool Firebird Firehawk. These were neat with the ram rear. I think they build a whole lot of those. Look at the very 90s looking stripes on this two-door Blazer. Alfa Romeo. Their Lotus Esprit. Said I am trying to remember what I did or did not shoot, because this place is like a maze. So this one's been in the family since 1984. Volvo. When I was in high school, these were like a popular hand-me-down car too. I graduated in '92. A little RX-7 and a Mr. 2. One of these little Preludes. Previa minivan. I brought my one van to Radwood a few years ago when I was at the Peterson, my 83 Dodge buggy van. I don't think people knew what to make of it. So I'll have to make a return to another Radwood at some point. But, how about a Volkswagen with BMW rims? Tell you what, these MR2s are like coming out in force for Radwood. I'm not going to try to tangle with everybody over here. There's a whole group. Little Mitsubishi Diamond Star Motors action. How about a G-body Cutlass? Another Viper. Little Starion. Mitsubishi. Mazda RX-7. This guy's got the full splatter paint going on his BMW. This one's ready to go for the Gambler, including with the turbo hanging out the hood.
It's less sprung. It's not unsprung. Right.
Probably gonna have to. I may have to edit this section. We'll see. If you're listening to my voice with music in the background, you'll know I didn't have to edit this part. As more of the exotic car guys are rolling in late. My kids actually pull on me to leave early because she wants to get back to the house. Which I don't blame her. It's been like a crazy weekend. There's Volvo. This one's ready to go like on a road rally. I found some of the off-road vehicles that kind of rolled in late here. She got this old Jeep. Looks like it's from Magnum PI. Some more like vintage off-road vehicles that they kind of put up here on the dirt. It's like a JDM Toyota with the roof off of it. Land Cruiser, right-hand drive. We'll come around and shoot that. Nice Zuzu pickup.
I'm trying to think if there's anything I haven't seen that's surprised.
A square body. All right, so that's the Radwood show for NorCal 2021. I'm about to head back to LA. We got to get back today, so we're leaving a little early. Some of the cars and motorcycles and such are already leaving, so we will too. Hopefully I'll be doing some work on the 64 Ranchero this week and getting a video up next week. So we'll see about that. So if you like to see, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment as what your favorite car was at the car show here at Radwood 2021 in San Mateo in Northern California. Until next time, I'll be seeing you.